Welcome everyone to Monopoly. In this video, we're gonna do a price prediction and price analysis for Zcash for the year 2026. So let's go. Zcash has been doing good recently and had a really good upward momentum. So first of all, the first thing comes to mind is that this upward trend line that we had several reactions to it. Even from the early days that we had these reactions, and eventually right before the end we had reactions just before crashing even lower. So basically this was indication for us that the upward momentum has been over, at least for some time. And also another thing for us would be that we had a really good sales setups here. So basically, when in the chart we see some pair is doing a really good upward momentum, all we think is long because it's keep going up and going on, and we by default we are thinking it's going to go up forever. We are looking for buy opportunities, but actually in some cases the short opportunities are way easier. For example, here we had a sharp upward momentum, and we had this top here. First of all, it could be caps maybe. If you don't know what caps is, it's right here, pops up in the window. We had several different reactions to it. First of all, after this upward momentum, we had a correction, and then we start going to attack this. And right when we get to the supply zone, the sellers push the price down. And then when we had a lower low, we again start to go up and attack, which is typical and makes sense because obviously it's above the upward and bullish trend line, so it would make sense that we would have another attack for with upward momentum to the supply zone. And of course we get rejected, and with the first try we rejected, and then we have a compound movement and it attacks to the previous high and it gets rejected. And again these buyers do not give up, and again we attack. And at this point you just need to see that when it failed to break and then we have another rejection, it just indicates that the bullish momentum is done for now, and this is a perfect entry for your short. Of course you're not going to short here, or like whenever you see a pump you see, oh, it's going to go down. That's a beginner mistake, common mistake, and then they get liquidated. Don't bet against the momentum. But in the other hand, a scenario like this is actually very valid. It's actually 80% chance that it's going to hit your TP, and the TP here would be just the bottom of the trend line, which actually it exactly did reach there, and you could just make a really sweet 20-30% profit in short. I would give this setup like 85-90% chance that it will hit your TP. So like these type of situations are really good, that you would even enter with the higher risk, because this short actually here was perfect. So anyway, when we had this drop, and this was our last line of defense to actually attack again, and if we attack it again this time we would probably break this. We had a breakthrough downward, and then we crashed to almost $300. So now the question, what's next? So let's go back to 4-hour chart. So in these previous days we are having upward momentum again, we're having pumps, we're up 37%. And do I think in 2026 we might go above 700 again and break this high and go for a all-time high ultimately? I would say it's possible. Most likely not directly from here, that we keep going up again and have another massive bull run. I think for now we are going to have a kind of range-ish until 2026, and after 2026, whenever the market is good, we are not having a, I don't know, World War III or something, and the altcoins index or whatever is doing well, I think it's most likely that we are going to attack this area again, and maybe at first we're going to get rejected, but this time we're going to definitely break it. I believe if we reach here again anytime at 2026, I think it's most likely that we're going to break it and we're going to go for all-time high ultimately. I would give the bullish scenario 60% and the bearish scenario maybe 40%. What is the bearish scenario? Is that any of these pumps is only temporary, and these highs are just the lower high, and we're going to have a lower low, and eventually we're going to go back down, and the worst case scenario we go back down to the base of this pump. If we go back down, it was just anything about this was fake, and 2026 is going to be probably a crappy year for Zcash. So in conclusion, I think we're probably going to have a kind of range-ish. Of course, not going to be range because any of these movements are going to be 30+%. So it's really good for in case of trading on it, and high volume wise, it has a high volume, so it is going to have a lots of opportunities for scalping, etc. But comparing to this momentum, it's going to be look like a range, and it's not going to go anywhere. We're probably going to stay above 250 or 600. So we're going to see something like this in 2026. Our bottom would be a V type maybe, that we get pushed back up quickly, because the same as here and the same as any of these here, I think the buy pressure is still high. So I think there's lots of hopes for Zcash that it wouldn't go any lower than any of these lows much, and even if it goes, I think it could recover quickly, and eventually if we can keep above these levels, we could attack these levels here and then attack here, and again, as I said, if we reach here we can break it this time, and then we have to see when will it go. And of course, for the major support zones, I believe we can have something like this, that this zone did well and 0.5 did as a supply zone, but now it's broken, so probably going to act as a demand zone. So eventually any of these could be our potential resistance for the future, and the $500 zone is a psychological zone, is going to align with the 0.618 zone, and it's going to be a really important zone for us to break. We already also had some reactions here to it, so I will say our first place to break for potential higher high moves, $5 zone. It's a really, first of all, it's a base for us here, and also it's aligned with the Fibonacci levels, and also it's psychological, so it's super important. And first we have to break here, and then eventually we can go for a higher high in the future in the 2026. And whenever we break this, it's a good sign that we eventually going to attack here. And when we attacked here and broke this, then we're gonna go our main zone here for the bullish scenario. And of course, let's not forget the bearish scenario. Like again, anything is possible in crypto market. Tomorrow you might wake up and see that this is below $100, so anything is possible. And one of them is that we even might go higher, but that would lead to a crash that would eventually keep crashing and dropping, and whenever we lose any of these levels, we could even go for a lower low, and our ultimate target for bullish scenario would be the base, and it would be anywhere between $50 and $100, and that would be our ultimate bearish scenario. But again, I would give it that scenario 35% to 40%. So if you're a Zcash holder or you longed at top and you're hoping it goes back up, first of all, you needed to close it here when it broke, so that's on you, but there is not an obvious sign that we might go back on. Still, the bearish scenario still have a chance, but I would say the chances are still in your favor, so take that as whatever you want. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Let's grow this channel together, and see you in the next video.